I've talked to you offline, and so I want you to kind of walk me through the special session, where it went, the FOIA, what it was, what you guys ended up passing, and tell us about this retroactivity, what it means, and more importantly, what it doesn't mean.
Okay. I think, first of all, let me say I agree with you. I'm a firm supporter of the OI. It's been there since 1967. It's proven itself. I happen to be blessed to have worked under it, one of the first public information officers with the state police. So I'm a firm believer in the right of the people to know. They have to know. They have to be informed. They have to be involved in what's happening in their government. The special session, in my estimation, as it unfolded, would have been better off not to have been called, because of the simple fact we wasted 2 days of taxpayers' money trying to figure out how we were going to deal with this FOI situation. It was too strong. It did not need to be approached in the manner that it was approached, submitted in the special bill. It was very clear, or should have been clear. It was clear to a lot of us that was not going to fly. But anyway, they went ahead and forced the bill, pushed it out there. It took us 2 days to reach a consensus in the House that we could go along with perhaps the security part of the sections. It was designed the same way. I hate to bring this up, but it was designed the same way as the LEARNS Act. If I had voted against, voted for the FOIA as it was presented, then I would have been voting against the state police, which I did not want to do. It had 4 parts. 3 of them dealing with the FOIA, major changes to the FOIA law. And there's a group out there that's persistent. It's the same group over and over and again. They're striving to change FOIA. So a lot's happened since we talked, with the formation of a group to try to put it in the Constitution, which I wholeheartedly support and agree with. But the security part was the 4th part, which was the governor's protection, regardless if it's Sarah Huckabee or who it is.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on that specific piece? Because that's what ended up happening. Okay. You voted for it, correct? You voted for that,
right? Yeah. Yes, I did. That specific portion of the law dealing with the security was needed in some ways to be able to protect the activities of the state police in this day and age of new technology and movement and particularly as it relates to cameras and who's where and who's what, the number of people assigned to a detail to be able to protect her. And everyone wants the governor and her children, or a governor and his wife, to have protection, and that's the state police's responsibility, and they have wholeheartedly fulfilled that. But some of this information that some of the bloggers and others are attempting to secure would lead to them being able to have as much knowledge as the troopers do that perhaps are protecting them. They're in an unknown, uncertain area as it relates to being able to protect. The retroactive part of it, I can understand it. Let me explain how that comes about, or why. The retroactive part of it actually starts with the state police the night after the primary, or the night of the primaries, when each party, Democratic, Republican, Independent, whatever, selects their candidates. The state police knew then that they would have one with the Democratic Party who had 3 children, and that they would have a candidate with the Republican Party that would have 3 children. So that was 5. That increased from 2 of security detail to put information together. It increased it to 5. So they had to know where those children went to school, what they were doing, what their daily routine might be, what they might have to do to protect them, what number of troopers would they need, where would they need cameras, how would they live in the mansion, and then on the travel, when they traveled, whether it be in-state, intrastate, or interstate, who would care for the children? Where would the children be? Most of the time, they stay at home in the mansion.
Sorry to interrupt, but so what you're saying is, so from the moment that there's a clear Democratic nominee and a clear Republican nominee here in Arkansas, the state police then is going to assign some sort of security detail and start making plans as to how we can secure the families of whoever the nominees are, Democrat or Republican. And then we get to election. Let's say we get to election night, and the winner, in this case, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. One security detail goes away, and now we're focused on, who the current governor is. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. But there's no detail. There's no one involved from the primary to the campaign election to the November general election. That is all planning. The personnel do not become involved until, as you stated, that night, once the election is determined, then one detail goes away. They're there that night at both headquarters, but they do not do anything from this. Well, in the case here was from May through November. They just planned. They just put together the plan of how they would protect them and how they would have executive protection for them. But the actual personnel became involved the night of the election, when the selection process had finished out, and it was known that Sarah Sanders would be the governor.
So is this so answer the questions on terms of the retroactive part. The way it was, and I know the state police were pushing back against the Blue Hog report, right? Against Matt Campbell. I know they were pushing back. They weren't wanting to release, some of the information. But you're saying as it was before this happened, all that information, all that planning was potentially FOIA-able?
Apparently so. From what the state police has led me to believe, and from what I understand about it, it would have been available, and all that planning and all that they were trying to do to be able to be ready to go on day one, which is their assignment, could have been known. How many are you going? We're going to have 5 troopers the night of the election. We're going to have 6 troopers on a daily basis, rotating. I mean, I don't have any idea how they were going to structure that, but all that information could be known. And the one thing that is important to executive protection is the element of surprise, that what you're going to do, but that the person who is the perpetrator or has ill intent toward that person, they're completely distanced. They have no way. But if they know you're going to have 5, they can pinpoint them. Most of the time, they can spot them, who they are, where they are. Of course, I can anytime I'm in a room when a dignitary comes in, I can spot the Secret Service or the state police. But that's just from the natural training. But you have to. The element of surprise best works for the state police, not the other way around. If they know what you're trying to do, and where your cars, where your officers, where your cameras, where you're going to be, I mean, there was a lot to do about her travel, and we travel here and travel there. Well, I get every day, I get a news release from her office telling me that she's going to be at Greenbrier for a speech at 12 o'clock, and that at 12:15 or 12 o'clock, 11:45, the media must be there. Well, anybody that's going to have any ill motives, they're going to know she's going to be traveling Highway 65 probably sometime during that period between 11:15 and 11:45. Or she's going to be landing up there at the Greenbrier Airport. So, I mean, it's kind of but I understand from the standpoint of them wanting to protect retroactively, particularly to the dates that they set in this rule.